Cartoons! Everyone watched cartoons when they were younger. Every kid loves them. I don't know a single child who would say, I don't watch cartoons because they are boring. Everyone can find their favorite because there are a lot of different types of cartoons. And nowadays there are a lot of cartoons for adults as well. But in today's video I want to focus on the child cartoon side because recently I came across cartoon intros from the late 2000s and I got nostalgia overload and I was like, I have to make a video about this because it's just so fun to look back and remember things from your childhood. And when I watched these intros, sometimes I was like, I know that I watched this show, but I have no idea what was it about or what was the story. I just know I liked it. And sometimes I was like, oh, I love this show! How could I forget about this? So, to hopefully give you this feeling too, I got 7 cartoons from my childhood that I really enjoyed back in the day. Originally there were a lot more than 7, but then I realized this video is going to be a little too long then. Maybe I'll do a part 2, who knows. Oh, and I tried to make a list of not really known cartoons, like there won't be any Ninjago or Avatar because they are pretty known shows I guess, so yeah. Back in the day, as a kid, cartoons were just cartoons. We didn't know about animes being different. We just watched it because it was fun. For me there were 2 anime series that I really loved. Beyblade and Bakugan. In those days, a lot of anime were just created for the sake of selling more toys for the kids, and these shows were no exception. Bakugan and Beyblade were toys that you could buy at every convenience store. I had 3 or 4 Bakugans if I can remember correctly, and I remember bringing them to kindergarten. Bakugan aired between 2007 and 2008. The show was about these kids who got access to these monsters called Bakugan, and they developed a game with those creatures. Of course, we had our main group, and they were fighting against this masked dude, because he was killing these Bakugans. And that's it. That's all I can remember from the show. The fights were really epic too. I mean, just imagine 2 giant monsters fight each other with superpowers. My other memory about this show is from kindergarten. One day I was playing with my Bakugan in the garden, and I lost one of them. I was sad, but then some guys came and helped me to find it. One of them actually found it, and he was like, you said whoever finds it can keep it, right? And I was like, no, I didn't say that. And I just took the Bakugan and left. But looking back, I think I never really played with Bakugans as intended. I didn't really went down the Bakugan rabbit hole, but as far as I can see, it's like Pokemon TCG, with the power levels and boosters and everything like it, but you get a plastic ball too. It's way too complicated for me, but at least the toys themselves looks really cool. And now they can jump on hexagons and they get power from them, and there is no gate cards anymore, so it's really weird. It changed. Yeah, like I said, I have no idea what's going on here. It just looks cool, but I can be really wrong. Maybe it's totally different than Pokemon TCG and I'm just telling lies here. Beyblades, on the other hand, were dominating in our class in 1st and 2nd grade. Beyblade aired between 2009 and 2012, but I mostly remember watching Beyblade Metal Fusion, the 1st season, and actually I don't have any memories from the 4th and final season. The show was about kids, and they had these spinning things called Beyblade. Each Beyblade had a name and some kind of personality, but mostly they were just spinning, and whoever could knock out their opponent wins. Like I said, Beyblade was made to sell toys, and playing with Beyblades were a lot more fun than playing with Bakugans. In primary school, everyone had at least 1 Beyblade, and I remember I had Leona? Leona? The green hurricane-making lion who was really cool in the show, but in real life it was actually pretty weak. You see, every Beyblade was made out of metal and plastic parts, and you could actually build your own Beyblade if you wanted to, and you had the money to buy Beyblades. And there were defensive and offensive Beyblades. If your Beyblade had a bigger button, then it was a defensive type, and if your Beyblade had a smaller one, then it was an offensive type. Defensive types usually just stayed in the middle of the arena and waited until the other Beyblade knocked them out. And the opening was like godlike, it was so cool. It's amazing! I said it's amazing! Come on! And to this day, it's so satisfying to watch Beyblades fight each other. I mean, look at this! You don't know who is going to win? I don't know who is going to win. And if I cut this clip here, you are going to be mad at me, so let's just see who is going to win. Oh, and by the way, this is like a 2012 Beyblade Championship, which is like crazy that it happened, but it's so cool. And the winner is the Japanese guy! Nice, good job, man. Um, I have a confession to make. I I watch girly shows. I mean, come on, what's wrong with that? I've never been your absolutely boyish boy. If a girly show was on TV, I watched it without thinking it was not for me or it was bad. So with that being said, let me introduce you to Bibi Blocksberg. Bibi Blocksberg was a German slice of life show about Baby the Little Witch. It aired from 1994 to 2019. What? Wait a second, what? 2019? What? I mean, I'm not complaining, but wow! Bibi would always mess up something with magic, and at the end of the episode, they all learned something really important. I know, from this it sounds like these stupid cartoons where every single episode is the same, and after 5 episodes you know what's going to happen. But it's not like that. It's actually really good, believe me. And you may think she had to keep her magic a secret like in every other show with witches, but no. Everyone was open about it, so it was completely normal for Bibi's classmate to see crazy stuff made by Bibi. And while we are at the girl side of the shows, let me just say, I watched Horseland too. I've never really liked horses, but I remember watching it and liking the show for some reason, and I can appreciate a fun show with or without horses. Horseland aired between 2006 and 2008, and it was just about people riding horses and doing whatever people do who like horses. Actually, I don't really remember any scenarios from the show, but like I said, I remember liking it as a kid. And because of this, you could go like, hold your horses. If you don't remember anything from the show, then why did you include it? For that I would say, because again, I remember liking it as a kid, and so you can go like, huh, I know this show, I really loved it. One other show I really loved was Martha Speaks. I think every little kid who had a dog loved cartoons about dogs or just about animals in general. Martha Speaks was a cartoon series aired from 2008 to 2014, and it was about a dog named Martha, and after she ate alphabet soup she gained the ability to speak. It was one of my favorite shows growing up. It was fun, it was about dogs, and I think every kid who watched this show and had a dog just wanted to give them alphabet soup so they'll be able to speak. Unfortunately, it never worked out. As you can see, the art style was really special. I haven't seen any cartoons like this, or at least I can't recall it. You know, there was an era where a lot of cartoons started to use 3D to model and animate their characters, and most of the times it looked awful. I know, this was a needed step to make because without them, the 3D CG would be nowhere. But still, while Martha is really minimalistic in terms of graphics, it had its own very special vibe to it. I even remember that my favorite episode was this double episode when they got trapped in a mall for the night. I don't know, the idea of being in a big mall all alone at night was a big dream of mine for some reason. But just in general, every single episode was really fun and entertaining, and it was cute. It was the show what the whole family could watch, and your parents won't get really bored because it's too cute to hate this show. So yeah, Martha Speaks was one of my favorite shows. It was cute, it was fun, but still, there were 2 other cartoons that I loved even more. And that was Master Raindrop and Dinosaur Train. Hey, Editing Matt here. I just wanted to say, looking back, I don't think I like Master Raindrop more than Martha Speaks. Master Raindrop is cool, but I think Martha Speaks is better, yeah. That's all I wanted to say. Okay, let's start with the first one. Master Raindrop was a 26 episode long series released in 2008. It was about 5 elements fighting to wake the Golden Dragon, and to do that, Raindrop had to gather all the elements across the world to do so. But 12 years ago, when the Golden Dragon was defeated, General Boo took control over the world. Even as a kid, I loved these Asian-based settings and these road movie style shows. So when you mix the two together, it's going to be a good show for sure. The characters were interesting, especially Flemo. He was the fire element and he was on Boo's side, but he was needed to awake the Golden Dragon. I mean, try to convince someone from the enemy's team to sacrifice themselves for your sake. Yeah, the animation was a little wanky, but as a kid you don't really look at the 3D animation's quality and whether you just enjoy the story and the fights. And because I watched Master Raindrop before Avatar The Last Airbender, I had no comparison, so I didn't realize how similar they are. So yeah, looking back, these two shows are really similar, but I have to say, Avatar: Last Airbender is always going to be the best cartoon ever created, and that's just a fact. And then we have our last cartoon for the day, Dinosaur Train. This PBS Kids show started in 2009 and still going to this day. In 2021, it got a movie. Wow, wow, I mean, what the... This is just like Bibi Blocksberg, it's so out of nowhere. I didn't even know the show was still going, let alone it got a movie. Wow. But anyway, this show was my jam as a kid. Every kid wanted to be a firefighter, policeman, astronaut, or stuff like that. But I wanted to be a paleontologist. My mom told me that every time someone asked me or her about what I'm going to be when I grow up, and I said paleontologist, even adults didn't know what that was. Every kid loved dinosaurs, but most of them loved them because of Jurassic Park. But obviously my parents didn't allow me to watch such a movie as a kid, so this was my dino show. Dinosaur Train was about a pteranodon family who adopted a T-Rex baby. They, I mean mostly Tiny and Buddy, went to different time periods to learn about different dinosaurs. And how did they travel across the land and time? With the dinosaur train. In every episode they went to a train station, and with that they traveled across the Mesozoic era, with time tunnels and everything. It could even go underwater to meet underwater dinosaurs. It was amazing. And as a PBS Kids show, it wasn't just fun, it teached us about dinosaurs. Each episode is followed by a live-action segment featuring Dinosaur Train educational consultant and paleontologist Dr. Scott, who appears on screen to explain the show's dinosaur curriculum in greater detail. I have a lot of good memories connected to this show, and the fact that it's still going really surprises me, but I'm happy that the new generation is able to enjoy the show as well. Cartoons are really something special to a kid. You can learn from them, you can go on great adventures, and you can enjoy good characters and stories while you are sitting in your room. And I think cartoons are those things that stay with us forever. Even 10 or 40 years from now, if you see a picture from your favorite childhood cartoon, then you will be grabbed by emotions and thousands of memories, and you will think back to a time where those cartoons were in their pride. Because let's be real, kid cartoons nowadays are just not that great. But I'm sure someone 15 years later will look back at Teen Titans Go and be like, that was an incredible show. Nowadays cartoons are awful. So with that being said, let's go and search for your favorite cartoons, because doing research for this video was amazing. Go back, listen to the intros, or heck, even watch a few episodes from them. Go on a big nostalgia trip. Have a nice day, and goodbye everyone.